Okay. So the hidden features of SAP. And there you go, Robert.
Okay. I will take control of this. Just here.
There we go. If you have any questions, by the way, people, use the chat box or just come out and ask, after he goes. He covers a lot of stuff here. So please ask your questions.
I wish I was able to, I wish I was able to cover more, but we have limited time.
That's it, but we'll have others. Okay, it's all yours.
Yes. So hidden features of ACP Business One. When we talk about hidden features, it's not, I would say, not something that is really well hidden. Sometimes it's just something that it's in front of your eyes, but you don't see it because you are used to do everything, every day on your own. And some stuff will be there, just in front of you, but you don't see them, because you never try to use them. And you will find maybe today some handy stuff. Yeah, you might know some stuff, you might know not. You take what you need and will go forward from there. So I will try to cover this kind of topics that I have there. Do with the bottom message bar, some features of the relationship map that we can find, what you can find at the right click of your button, shortcuts, the tooltip feature of ACP Business One, some features about grids and your list. I would like to show you how you can make a procurement or a work order from a sales order directly. Stuff about the delivery schedule now that is available with SAP Business One. If we have time, we might talk about the Outlook integration, the UI configurator, and activities, and so on. So let's start with the ACP stuff. So we'll just switch to my
SAP. And there's one thing too, guys. Robert's on HANA, so maybe the screen doesn't look familiar with you because you're on the SQL version, but it's the same menu and everything. So don't feel that you're not in the proper software or version.
So everyone see ACP Business One right now? Yep. Yes. Okay. So first things about the bottom bar here. You're all familiar with this bottom bar. Most likely you're familiar with this small section here where sometimes there is some red messages showing up. For example, if I want to do a delivery, okay, and I forget to put the delivery date, for example. A message will come at the bottom. But often, you're busy to do some stuff, and then the message disappear, and you don't know why. You don't know. You didn't get the time to get what was wrong, And then if it's a real problem, you would like to send a message to Logistic for support, but you just don't know what was the message. You can find those messages back. There will always be a way to find them back. If you go into the top menu in the window and you select System Message Log, it will just give you all the messages that the bottom bar was giving you since you log in the morning. So you see that the delivery date was missing. It's there. That's the last message we just did, and it should be there. So the bottom bar, so you get an history there. It will just give you, and you can filter. I just want to see my error message. You will get exactly what you need to find. So it's a very handy there. So this is useful. This part also, if you have you go over your fields, you get some additional information. Those are making queries. Those who wants to know which table, which field name, I need to play with when I make a query for some specific report. You can always do the view system information, and when you hover over some field, you will get at the bottom, on the same bar at the bottom, you will get the table name and the field name. So here I see that's the table ODLN. and a contact code, while this field would be the card code, etc. So it is very useful. What we have, I have already highlighted some features there. Usually this screen on the right side is empty. You know, there's 4 spots there that are empty. So what you can do with those spots is actually, if I go, let's go in the AR invoice. Okay, so what I did here is those spots I wanted to have some additional information. So what I did this morning, I just took the business account balance for this customer, and I just took the value there, highlight it, and drag it on my bar. I can even put it there if you want to. You know, so I get some value that is normally hidden because it's another page, another table, and it's now available in this grid. So if I move from one customer to another, you know, each one will show their actual account balance. You can drag, like here, I drag some other field. I drag the the email address of this contact here. So I just went on the contact tab of here, and I said, okay, I want this email address, and I just drag it over here. So something, you know, you can do. It could be very handy, you know, if you want very quick and very fast information. One other way to get fast information are the tooltips preview. You know, every time you have, for some specific field where you have this drill down arrow, you don't actually have to drill down on the arrow to see additional stuff. You can just hover over, and it will display, you know, some stuff here. I see the item code, the item group, the unit of measure groups, etc. I have the same stuff about the business partners, where I can also see there the account balance. Well, how can we see that? You know, you have to define, you have to activate the tooltip preview in your general settings, and then you will go in the administration module, tooltip preview here, and you would decide, if I am on the chart of account, if I want to see the account code, I want to see the account name, etc. If I hover over a warehouse, this is what I would like to see from the warehouse. Here, this is what we see right now from the master data. Okay, item group is not important for me. Just, you know, remove it. So when I will hover over this, you know, the item group will not be anymore part of this display. So this is something, I think it's from SAP Business 192. This is something now could be useful for everyone. You know, just small things like that, you know, that makes you could make your life easier. What else? I talk about the message log. I would like to talk about the relationship map that you can find with your documents. If we open this, you know, if you're not familiar, by the way, we'll talk about a lot the right clicks. Right clicks is a contextual, you know, menu where you can find a lot of stuff. A journal entry, or before you save the actual invoice, you will have a journal entry preview. Journal entry preview is useful, especially if you do complex transaction and you're not sure if the way you want, like an inventory revaluation, you would like to be sure that this is really what you need. You will prepare your inventory revaluation, do a right click, journal entry preview, and it will just give you the journal entry that would be done before you actually post it. Here in this case, I would like to show some features about the relationship map. If you don't know yet, you know, this is something that is well displayed over the well spread over the SAP Business One. You know, it gives you the links about, you know, if we have complex transaction, it will just give you the entire chain from sales order, delivery, AR invoice, credit memos. There's multiple deliveries, you will see them. But what you can do with this is you can also make your own links. You know, this is something like, for example, you have multiple invoice because you would like to relate them because they are on the same project. So you could actually go on the accounting tab, and here on the reference document, you can link other documents. I would like this to be linked to another invoice. You know, I can say, let's pick one like this. I can probably select more than one at the same time. Okay. Whoops, this field is empty. Let's put something. And when I do this, if I go back to my relationship map, oops, oh, let's update this. Go back to my relationship map, you know, when I go on the reference documents, I will get a new set of links, you know, and the system will just display them, you know. So it could be handy in some occasion. You want something, you know, that normally you did, for example, a credit memo that normally should have been should then link directly to an air invoice, but for some example, it was not. You can make your own manual link, and the system will just
Blanket agreements too, Robert? If somebody
blanket
uses them,
agree.
yeah.
Yeah, I think blanket agreement can be attached to there too. It's just whoops. This is the kind of stuff. So blanket.
It
Well,
should
I don't
be
see
there.
them.
Maybe it's automatically there because what you're looking there
Yeah,
is a reference, whereas maybe a blanket agreement would automatically come out in the relationship map without having to select adding reference information, maybe?
that's possible. You
Yeah.
know, I would have to check this one.
Okay.
So all right. So that's about it about the relationship map. Let's go back to a sales order. And create a new sales order. I don't know, by the way, I don't know if you know that you can do multiple selection. If you do, it's like Excel. If you do a shift click, it will just pick up all the stuff. Or if you do a control click, it will just add something stuff. And when you bring that into your grid, it will just bring that all together. If I was like this, and then you see, I don't see my grid, you know, entirely. There's also a new feature there that will maximize your grid. So it will just bypass what's on the screen. You can maximize your grid and you work in this type of window, and you can actually add more stuff, you know. So it's a handy way to see your grids. Every grid now in SAP Business One, you know, they have this feature, so you can maximize and work, you know, while. And then when you have to complete your document, you just switch back to this and add the work order. Now, what I wanted to show you here is there's a lot of stuff you can find just the right click of your mouse. You know, for example, if I go a right click on the price field itself, there was some additional field that will show. The one is called the last price, so it would be all the last price or the price paid by this customer. So you see here, obviously the price was always the same, you know, so they paid the $600 all the time. And you will have also the price report that will give you on which item list or price list they are set right now, you know. And you could switch, you know. I could say, okay, I'm not going to use a regular size sales list, but I know I'm willing to switch this guy just for this order to this distributor sales list, and that will change the price accordingly on your sales order. So this is something that could be done. On the quantity side, you have the still item availability check. You also have the available to provide. So just give you that will compute all the production orders, all the sales orders, all the POs, etc., and just tell you what will be the cumulative amount until, you know, that is recorded according to all the open documents. Obviously here there's a lot of testing that was done, you know, so we have a lot of stuff there. So what else can we do? You know, if you are using pick and pack, once you have made your sales order, if you are using pick and pack, you know, you could always do a right click, and you could actually generate a pick list directly from your sales order. Okay, where is that pick list? Well, I don't see it right now. But you can generate the pick list. What is important, and the other stuff I wanted to show you, is that you have a little guy here. You see procurement document for non-dropship warehouse. What does it do here? If you activate this, okay, when you are going to add your document, the system will run a wizard that will ask you delivery schedule for this one. Let's put today. Which item is that? There's a lot of stuff showing here. I don't know. I don't want to go through all of those. Maybe I'll short my list. Control K will reduce your list. You know, just remove all the lines you don't want. Okay, let's try to add this now. So what I wanted to show you is that, you know, from a sales order, you can have a wizard that will, you know, create either procurement documents or production orders, whether your item is made or buy. You know, so you can go there, and here it will say, okay, the system found that these items needs to be bought, you know, in order to fulfill the current sales order. So you could, and we'll say, okay, this item, you can say, okay, I want to buy to this guy. And the system at the end, you know, will just create a procurement document, a PO, that is related to your sales order. So if I go in the relationship map, you know, you will find that those are intimately related together, my purchase order based on this sales order. So this is something you can do.
Robert, no, okay. I'm looking at this because I have a question here from Melina. She was just asking if it's possible to print a report from the relationship map. So a report that will list all of the goods receipt POs that are related to a given PO, for example.
You mean when you see the relationship map here, you would like to, that
Get a
something that
report.
will all the
Yeah.
years?
Yeah. Could Melina, if you can unmute your mic, maybe specify.
I've never
Hello?
seen that. I don't know if it can.
I'm just wondering if I could print actual list of all. For example, if one purchase order resulted in 15 different goods receipts, is it possible to print a report that will actually list that this purchase order resulted was a target document for, was a base document for that many goods receipts POs and list them all?
Well, I don't know if there is one out of the box, but by a query, it's easy to do something like that. It will just give you this kind of information.
Yeah, it wouldn't be in the relationship map, but there's surely a report that you can pull out with what you need.
Yeah, I don't see any prints here that would give me this possibility, but
I'd say a query. Yeah.
Okay.
A query would do that for sure.
Yeah.
You know.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. So yeah, so right click. This is something you have to get used to. You know, you are in a document. You know, right click might do something additional for you. Another example of a right click would be if I am on a business partner. If I am a business partner, I would like to see what was delivered to this guy. You know, I can always go to this business partner and see the inventory posting list by BP, and that will give you all the deliveries, the dates, the quantity, the item that was delivered, and even the price that was paid. So, you know, this is something that could be handy. Some tricks, but I just told you that Control K. Yeah, some keyboard shortcuts are very useful. Control K would allow you to actually delete a line in a grid. You probably know, you know, usually when we teach you how to use SAP Business One, we give you shortcuts. This is the find and the add, and that will give you the opportunity to actually, you know, or if you want to switch from one mode to the other, you could actually, you know, do a Control F or Control A to add, F to find, to switch from one state of a document to another. But some other shortcuts can be defined by you, you know. So actually in the Windows menu, or maybe in the tools, we have a feature called My Shortcuts, okay? And there you can customize your own shortcuts. If you go there, actually you have two shortcuts, one for AR invoice and one for open item list. I would like another one for sales order. So I just go back, switch it, and I go there, find my sales document, sales order, and I allocate. And now my F4 would be to open a sales order. So if I close this sales order and I go on my keyboard and I do an F4, that will open a sales order. If I do F3, that will open my open item list. So it could be, you know, very useful. You have like 12 function available in your keyboard that could be used to just have your very mostly used feature that you're using on a daily basis. I talked about tooltips, grids. You know, I showed you how to maximize the size here. What about, you know, sometimes we find, you know, all the grids, even if you do a query, sometimes it's very difficult, you know, just to play with the width of the columns. And if there's a lot of them that you want to play with, it's not very handy to do that manually and then get frustrated and stuff like that. The fastest way to adjust your columns would be to go just in the view and do a fit column width, you know, and the system will just bring you at what you need to see, you know, all the way. So fit column width, this is something that will be useful.
Robert, I have a question here. Can we make more than 12 custom shortcuts?
In the My menu, I think there's only the function button that can be programmed. So if I go back to tools, My Shortcuts. So those are the functions that are available. So it's, I would say 10, 12, because we start with
11.
2.
Yeah.
Those are the only one available to pre-program, you know. So, but there's a lot of them. There's a lot more. You know, if you go in the menu, you will see. You see on the right, just there, you see all the Control W, Control Y, Control G. These are stuff that are pre-programmed. If you are willing to learn them, you know, that will bring you, you know, other shortcuts. So the bunch of them. So sometimes the combination is very difficult, and sometimes it's more easy. Yeah, list. What I wanted to show you in the list, let's say I run a query. I don't recall why I put so now we can search queries here. Here it is. I run a query, and you're probably familiar that, you know, just by double clicking on the column, you will sort, you know, in the way you want. You know, you are able to sort, you know, any numbers and just by double clicking. But what if I go here in the same location, instead of double clicking, I'm doing a control double clicking. What does it do? It will just, sum the total of your column. I could do that for the row total as well. Just give you. So here it says that on my query, I have 1,140 items for a total value of $53,000 or so. Okay, so control double click, in some list like this will just give you, summarize. If you don't have a total, you want to see that, it will give you the possibility to see the total. Okay, sales order. Let's say I want to search a sales order or a bunch of them, and I would like to search for a specific vendor. Here I could just, sometimes we forget about it, but there's a function. You can always, any list in ACP Business One can be filtered, or most of them. Even a query, you can filter the result of your query against, that filter. This, when you select that, would take all the columns available in your list and gives you the ability to, so I can select, okay, give me all the customers that are from ADA technology. So that will bring me all the ADA stuff, okay? Now I'm looking for something, I'm looking for a specific sales order, but I just don't know which one it is. So if you go on this one and you just make a choose, that list will disappear, and will have, if you have, it was not the customer you wanted or the sales order you wanted, you will have to go back and select it again and everything. Here, there's a small tick box, when you say keep visible, whenever I click on this and I get my sales order, my list stays open at the back, so I can open another one and another one and another one. So I have, all my sales order would be there, until I decide that I really want to close this list, then I will be able to get rid of it. Okay, I have a bunch of windows, too many open windows, close all would just, give me the opportunity to, whoops, here that was a fast way to close all the windows. About what time is it? So it's about 2 o'clock. Outlook integration. I wanted to show you some features of Outlook. If you have Outlook as your main email application, it is integrated with ACP Business One in many ways. You will have to try on yourself. Unfortunately, I'm not able to, because I don't have Outlook on my station. But you would be able, if you have an email, you talk, or you are on an invoice, you have an issue with the customer didn't pay, and you exchange some emails about it. Just want to keep that as your emails in an attachment in your AR invoice itself. You will go inside your Outlook account, just take the email in the list. You will be able to take it and drag it into the attachment section of your AR invoice, and your email will be saved directly inside the AR invoice itself. So drag and drop, between Outlook and ACP Business One is possible. You can drag emails into attachment folder. What you can do with Outlook also is batch emailing. So you could prepare multiple invoice and then decide to send them in batch, to all your customers according to some email criteria. But you could also send in batch, like your monthly end statement. If we run an aging report from the financial, okay, I will just remove this customer. So I have a bunch of customers that could receive a statement. If I want to, I could print them and send them manually or by mail, whatever. But you could do this by batch also. So once your report is open like this, you go in the file menu and you say send with Outlook email. So what does it do? The system will find all the customers with an aging, and then we prepare a monthly statement, and then you will just have to decide who's going to receive it. So you will have to predefine in each customer who is the, here I decided that I will send that to the accountant. So, it could be the payables, could be receivables stuff, whatever, or just for statement. You define which person, more, 2, 3, any number of persons within a company, as long as they are defined as a contact in your company, they will receive the email. I think I have an example. No, business partner. Let's go to this guy.
The only thing with this, though, Robert, just to specify, is that the email, the format or the wording of the email would be dear. It's not personalized. You won't have like customer number 1 saying dear Melina or dear Robert. Everybody would just receive hello. That's it. It's generic, but it's very handy.
So here I say for Maxitech, Amanda Kostner is part of the accountant's email group. I can even define another one who will be Bob, and he has Bob at gmail.com, and he's also part of the accountant's group. So when I'm going to prepare the emails, the system will look at all the emails that are part of this group, and it will prepare, so you see that Amanda from the same company, and Bob both will receive a monthly statement. And I have just prepared, a small subject and body that everyone will receive. If information was missing, I would just, add, okay, this one is Judy. I wanted Judy to receive this one. This one I want to add Emily, etc. And then I will be just send, and that will prepare all your emails in Outlook. That will be sent, to all your specific customer at once, with their specific address, etc. So that could be very, very, very useful. We have time for more stuff. Tracy?
If I have what, Robert? Sorry, I was...
Okay, I said, do I have time for more stuff?
You absolutely do. You absolutely do. I had an email coming in at the same time. I'm sorry. I should actually just... No, you can go right ahead, Robert. Go ahead.
Okay. What else I had in my list? Let's go back to...
What did you cover this morning? You covered...
I covered this morning the UI, a little bit of the UI configurator.
Yep.
The UI configurator, I don't recall since which version, but this is now available for. You are able to. Let's go. I'll go to an AR invoice maybe. There's not so many. The way you're able now to change the way the things are showing there in your screen. If you go into the where is my UI control tools? Is it Form UI?
Okay. And to Robert, specify what the UI is, just for some that might not know.
UI is the user interface. Okay, so it means what you can see. So the UI configurator lets you, for each form or a lot of form in SAP Business One, to actually, modify where the information is put. Okay, I could take. Once I have activated the UI, I can take the remarks. I don't want them to be at the bottom. I would prefer to have them at the top here in this section. I don't like to see this UDF stay on the right bar. I would like to be on the main location. I can move that to the main location. I would like to hide, for some example, I don't want document date for me means nothing, so I can just hide this information. I don't want to see that anymore. So when it is done, I can just save the UI, and after that, when I go back to an AR invoice, technically, it should be just as I did, so I don't see the document information, my remarks are there, and I see my alert. This what I did is just on an individual basis, but this is also something you could do on a general basis or by group, so if you go in the main menu in the administration module utilities, you have the UI configuration template. From there, you can define some groups or some kind of templates, and that you tell which user will be affected by this plan template or which user group. So you can select, you define some user groups. Could be financial, procurement, could be sales, etc., or production, and they get their own set of forms. From there, you would add the forms, and in there, you would just edit like I just did the form UI, and there you would be able to actually standardize within a group of people in your company the setup. So this is something, sometimes it is useful, and it allows you to, if you want some specific information you don't want the people to see, then you are able to hide. You can even hide a tab, and the entire tab can be hidden, this way if you want to.
Robert, what would be the difference when you look at when somebody buys like Boyum B1up that really creates their own personalized orders and forms, and they add things in? What's the barrier that you'd say, well, we can't do this, we can't do that?
Well, sometimes, in business one, when you play with the UI, if you want to play with the field width, it will be not as handy as B1up will do. I can
like
play with
creating
them.
buttons, maybe.
The buttons, you won't be able to play with buttons. ACP Business One will stop at the either hide or move a field. It's more like B1up will be more like give him also some specific functions, some specific behavior. You can put some colors. You can color your fields. In SAP Business One, this field is a standard color, is white, and you cannot change it. It will just be the same as the background. This is something different with Boyum, where a field, depending even on its value, will show you different colors. Red, it's a problem. Green, it's okay, etc. So it's more. There's a lot more stuff you can do with B1up, regarding the UI.
Okay. Does anybody have any questions? Okay.
Yeah. So this was about the UI. There is a lot of stuff that I had also on my list, like the change log. Something people may be forgetting that is there when you have a sales order, especially sales order or delivery. If there is a lot of change, you can go and access the change log is not available for this one. Why? I don't know. This is weird. So usually I would be able to see when I did create the sales order and stuff like that, but I don't know for this sales. My change log is grayed out today, so usually I would see who created the sales order, This one is okay. This one is okay. So and you would see, I don't know why, because usually you cannot, a delivery cannot change a lot, but a sales order I should be able to see all the history. For some reason the change log is hidden. I will have to find why. Or if we go in the purchase order, maybe we see that would give me the history. And if I add a new item on this, there's a change, and my change log will tell me all the revisions, and it will just show me that now I have two different versions, and it will show me the difference. If I like both versions at the same time, I will be able, the system will tell me, okay, what was changed? Okay, so there is a new item there, that was added. Or if you want to see what was the original order, just double click and it'll show the original order with 2 lines, while this one showed me the last version with 3 lines, etc. So changelog is something useful often. When you want to understand what happened, sometimes the transaction get complex, we don't know why. You can see actually, who played with it, because the changelog will tell you who created it, who updated it, and stuff like that. So you will be able to find. So changelog is also something very useful.
Yeah, and I have a question here from Kevin. He wants to know where to find the relationship map. Kevin, if you're in a quote or an invoice, or you're in any document, you just click on the right. You'll get the menu there. See, right click,
Yeah.
and you'll see it there, relationship map.
Yeah.
All right.
So you see this one?
And you can see if it's locked. Like sometimes if it's locked, you can't access, or if it's unlocked,
You can go also, I know you probably know those, if I want to see what was the sales order in front of this delivery, I can just click on that button and it will just give me, the sales order that was attached to that.
So are there any other questions, anybody? No, if there's not, Robert, this morning when we had our presentation in French, he was on a roll. He'd say, I could cover this stuff for 2 hours. And I said, look, hold on to your list, because I really think that hidden features like this is something that everybody can learn something from. So I'd really like to have more of these in January, when we have our next series of topics that we're looking for. And if you guys have any ideas of what we'd like to cover, you're always welcome to send me an email. So I guess, well, thanks, Robert. Thanks for everything. And if anybody wants a copy of this, just send me an email. And they're now available on our YouTube Forgestic page. All the past web sessions are there, so very handy if you need to look for something. So thanks, everybody. See you in 2 weeks. Our next one is on the October 11th. We're going to be covering cash flow and budgets. So thanks, everyone. Have a nice day. Have a nice weekend.
Bye, everyone.
Thanks, Robert. Bye.
Bye, Tracy.